Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that most people find unsettling: silence. Yes, that awkward, eerie, uncomfortable thing that makes you reach for your phone, turn on the TV, or start scrolling through social media just to fill the void. But what if I told you that silence is not a void at all? That it is in fact full of answers. Answers that you will never hear as long as you are drowning in noise. You see, we live in a world where everyone is talking, yet very few are listening. There's always some notification buzzing, some video playing, some endless chatter filling our minds, and in this chaos, we forget the most important conversation of all, the one we need to have with ourselves. But here's the catch. You can't have that conversation if you never allow yourself to be silent. I have spent a good part of my life performing, speaking, and entertaining people. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that words have power, but silence has even more. Because silence forces you to listen, not just to the world, but to the voice inside you that has been trying to speak all along. Think about it. Why do we fear silence so much? Is it because we think it's empty? No. The real reason is that silence forces us to confront things we'd rather ignore. When there's no distraction, your fears surface. Your doubts knock on your mind's door. Your insecurities start whispering. And that's when most people panic. They turn up the music, call a friend, watch a movie, anything to avoid facing their own thoughts. But running away from them doesn't make them disappear. They're still there, waiting, and they will keep waiting until the day you finally sit down, embrace the silence, and say, "All right, let's talk." I still remember the days when I first came to Mumbai. I was a young man with big dreams but no certainty. The nights were long and the loneliness was real. The world outside was buzzing with life, but inside there was only silence. And in that silence, my mind had two choices: either sink into self-doubt or search for answers. I could have complained about how hard life was, how I missed home, how unfair the world seemed, but instead I listened. I listened to the silence that told me, "This is your test." I listened to the silence that reminded me why I had come here in the first place. I listened to the silence that whispered, "Keep going, your time will come." And guess what? It did. Silence is the world's greatest teacher. It teaches you patience, because when you are silent, you realize that not everything needs an immediate reaction. It teaches you resilience, because when you sit alone with your fears, you stop being afraid of them. And most importantly, it teaches you clarity. In silence, you understand what truly matters. You begin to filter out the noise, the unnecessary drama, the distractions, and you find your truth. But let's be real, silence is not always easy. We are programmed to seek noise, to crave validation, to surround ourselves with constant activity. And that's exactly why we need to practice silence more often. Try it, just 5 minutes of sitting alone without distractions. No phone, no music, no talking. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might even hate it. But if you stay with it, you'll realize something amazing. Your mind starts to slow down, the chaos fades, and in that stillness, new thoughts emerge. Thoughts that are not influenced by what others say, but by what you truly feel. You see, we often look for answers in the outside world. We ask people for advice, read books, watch videos, hoping that someone else will tell us what to do. But the truth is, the answers are already inside you. You just have to create the silence to hear them. Think about the greatest ideas in history. Did they come in the middle of a loud party? No. They came in moments of solitude, in moments of deep reflection. Buddha found enlightenment not in a crowded marketplace, but under a tree, in complete silence. Scientists make their biggest discoveries not in the middle of distractions, but in focused, quiet thinking. Writers, artists, dreamers, all of them create their best work when they step away from the noise and embrace the silence. Even in films, some of the most powerful moments are not in the dialogues, but in the pauses, in the spaces between words, because that's where emotion truly lives. And life is no different. You don't have to fill every second with talking or doing. Sometimes just being is enough. So my friends, if you ever feel lost, if you ever feel like you don't know what to do next, Don't run to the noise, run to the silence. Sit with it. Let it speak to you, because silence is not empty, it's full of answers, waiting for you to listen. And when you finally do, you'll realize that everything you were searching for was within you all along. And if you ever forget this lesson, just remember one thing. Next time you see me in a movie, standing in my signature pose, arms wide open, notice the silence in that moment. That pause before the magic happens. That, my friends, is where the real power lies. If life were a Bollywood film, who would be the main hero? Think about it. Would it be your best friend, your boss, that influencer you keep comparing yourself to? No. The answer is simple. It's you. But here's the problem. Most of us don't see ourselves as the hero. We act like the side character, the extra, the background dancer in someone else's story. We wait for validation, for someone to tell us we're worthy, for life to give us a grand entry moment. But the truth is, if you don't love yourself like you're the hero of your own movie, no one else will either. Now I get it, self-love is easier said than done. Some days you wake up feeling like the superstar of your life, ready to take on the world, and other days you look in the mirror and think, who cast me in this disaster film? That's normal. Every great hero has a journey. They don't start off perfect. They stumble, they doubt, they make mistakes, but they grow. And the first step to that growth is loving yourself even when you feel unlovable. Let's take a moment and think about your favorite movie hero. What makes them so special? Is it their good looks, their charm, their ability to throw 5 bad guys in the air while delivering a dialogue that could melt hearts? No. What truly makes a hero is their belief in themselves. No matter how many people doubt them, they keep moving forward. They don't wait for someone to come and save them, they save themselves. Now imagine if you treated yourself with the same respect and admiration that you have for your favorite on-screen hero. Imagine waking up every morning and saying, I am the star of the story. No matter what happens, today, I am enough. Sounds cheesy, maybe, but trust me, it works. Because the way you talk to yourself, the way you see yourself, shapes everything else in your life. But let's be honest, loving yourself isn't always easy. We live in a world that constantly tells us we're not enough, not good-looking enough, not successful enough, not rich enough, not something enough. And in this constant race to meet unrealistic standards, we forget that we are already whole. The moment you stop chasing perfection and start embracing yourself exactly as you are, that's when the real transformation begins. Think about every hero's journey. At the start, they are often lost, confused, struggling. They don't always have all the answers. They fail, they fall, they face rejection. But do they give up? No. Because deep down they believe that they are meant for something greater. And you, my friend, are no different. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure, it's just part of your script. It's building your character. It's making you stronger. One of the biggest mistakes we make is waiting for someone else to make us feel worthy. We think, once I find love, I'll be happy. Once I achieve success, I'll feel good about myself. But here's the truth. Happiness doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. If you don't love yourself now, no amount of external validation will ever be enough. But if you truly accept yourself, even on your worst days, no rejection, no failure, no setback can break you. Loving yourself means treating yourself with kindness. It means allowing yourself to make mistakes without tearing yourself apart. It means looking in the mirror and appreciating the person staring back, even when they're messy, tired, or unsure of the future. It means standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, and not settling for less than you deserve. And let's not forget, every great hero has a unique story. No two journeys are the same. So stop comparing your life to someone else's. Stop looking at someone else's success and thinking, why not me? Your time will come, your moment will come, but only if you stop doubting yourself and start embracing who you are right now in this very moment. I want you to think about the climax of every great movie. That one scene where the hero finally realizes their worth, where they rise up against all odds, where they prove to themselves and the world that they are enough. Now ask yourself, why can't that be you? What's stopping you from having your main character moment? The only thing standing in your way is you. So, from today, start treating yourself like the hero of your own film. Walk into every room with confidence. Talk to yourself with love. Fight for your dreams like they are the most important mission in the world, because they are. And when life throws obstacles your way, don't break down and think this is the end. No, my friend. Every hero has a plot twist. Every hero has a turning point. And when that moment comes, when you finally see yourself as the star you were always meant to be, just remember, this was your journey all along. You were never the side character. You were never the extra in someone else's film. You were always the main event. So love yourself. Not just a little, not just when things are going well, but fully, deeply, unapologetically. Because the world may or may not recognize your greatness yet, but as long as you do, that's all that matters. And if you ever forget, just imagine me standing in front of you, arms wide open, saying, there's a moment in everyone's life when they feel completely alone. It could be in the middle of a crowded street, in a house full of people, or even when surrounded by friends. That sinking feeling, that emptiness that whispers, no one understands me, can feel unbearable. But here's the thing, being alone and feeling lonely are two completely different experiences. One drains you, the other empowers you. And the sooner you understand the difference, the sooner you will realize that solitude is not something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. Let's start with loneliness. Loneliness is the ache of wanting connection but not having it. It's when you crave company but no one is there. Or worse, when people are there but you still feel invisible. Loneliness makes you question yourself. Am I not good enough? Am I unlovable? Why does everyone else seem happy while I feel so empty? These are questions everyone has asked at some point, no matter how successful, famous, or loved they are. Loneliness doesn't care about your achievements. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor, young or old. It sneaks in like an uninvited guest and makes itself comfortable in your heart. Now let's talk about solitude. Solitude is something entirely different. It is the ability to be alone without feeling lonely. It is the art of enjoying your own company, of finding peace in your own thoughts, of not needing external validation to feel complete. Solitude is where creativity is born, where self-awareness grows, and where clarity finds its home. Many of the greatest minds in history embraced solitude. Writers, artists, philosophers, none of them created their best work in the middle of a noisy crowd. They stepped away, sat with their thoughts, and allowed themselves the silence needed to think deeply. Because here's the truth. When you're alone, you meet the most important person in your life, yourself. But here's where it gets tricky. Most people confuse solitude with loneliness because they've never learned to enjoy their own company. We live in a world where being alone is seen as a problem. If someone eats at a restaurant alone, people assume they are lonely. If someone sits quietly at a party, they are seen as awkward. But what if that person is simply comfortable with themselves? What if they are enjoying their own thoughts, reflecting, growing? There is power in solitude. It is where you get to understand yourself without the noise of other people's opinions. It is where you figure out what truly makes you happy, not what society says should make you happy. It is where you learn to be self-sufficient, where you stop relying on others to make you feel whole. Because the truth is, if you can't be happy alone, you will never truly be happy in a crowd. Think about a tree. It doesn't ask for company. It doesn't seek approval. It stands tall, deeply rooted in its own existence. And because it is strong alone, it gives shade, fruit, and life to everything around it. That's what happens when you learn to love solitude. You stop seeking validation from the outside world, and instead you become someone who gives happiness, wisdom, strength to others. But let's be honest, in today's world, solitude is difficult. We are addicted to distractions. We check our phones the moment we wake up, fill every silence with music or noise, and avoid being alone at all costs. Because when we are alone, we are forced to face ourselves. And that can